The hot water cascaded over my shoulders, steam curling around my face like a thick veil as I tilted my head back, letting the stream pound against my skin in a desperate attempt to drown the weight of the day. College had been brutal lately, deadlines, exams, expectations, but what was truly driving me insane had nothing to do with school. It had everything to do with her. With Naomi, my best friend. My very straight, very bold, very touchy Naomi. Or at least I thought she was straight. That illusion had started to crack weeks ago, when her hugs lasted just a second too long, when her eyes lingered just a bit lower than my face, when she laughed too softly when I brushed her hand. And then came last weekend, when we'd watched that stupid movie on her bed, and she'd slowly fallen asleep against me, her breath warm on my collarbone, her hand curling over my thigh like it belonged there. I told myself it was nothing. I had to, because admitting it was something would unravel everything I thought I knew about myself. I wasn't into girls. I wasn't, right? But then her voice broke through the water's roar, slicing clean through my thoughts. "Hey, Riley, you left your phone on the couch. It's blowing up." Naomi's voice, casual, echoing through the cracked bathroom door, sent a jolt down my spine. "Naomi?" I called back, panic blooming low in my stomach. I hadn't locked the door. I never locked the door when it was just her and me. "Yeah," she said, already too close, too casual, like we'd done this a million times. I heard the door creak open wider. "Don't worry, I'm not peeking. Just leaving it on the counter." "Naomi," I snapped, trying to hide the tremor in my voice. But it was already too late. I could sense her, standing just behind the thin curtain, close enough to touch. My heart slammed against my ribs. If you enjoyed this content and want to support the channel in a special way, try clicking the thanks button below. It's the one with the heart and $sign icon. With super thanks, you can make a direct contribution to the channel, which helps me keep creating awesome videos for you. This was insane. She'd never come in here before. Not like this. "Relax," she said, her voice lower now, softer. "Curious. It's not like I haven't seen a body before." "You haven't seen mine," I shot back, but it came out breathy, weaker than I wanted. Her silence was deafening. And then, God, her fingers grazed the edge of the curtain, not pulling it back, just resting there. I froze. The steam suddenly felt suffocating. "You've been acting weird lately," she said, her voice husky, words slow. "Avoiding me, not answering my texts, running out of the room when I come in." I clenched my jaw, eyes closed, praying for the water to wash her voice away. But it didn't. It clung to me, intimate and insistent. "I haven't," I lied, breath catching in my throat. "You have," she said, and then quieter. "Is it because of that night? When we were on the bed?" Her voice broke a little, like she wasn't sure she wanted the answer. "It was nothing," I whispered. "Was it?" she asked. And this time, her hand did more than rest. It slipped through the curtain, just her fingers, slow and trembling, brushing the air as if searching for mine. My whole body tensed. I should have stepped back. I should have told her to get out. I should have screamed or laughed or pretended not to understand. But I didn't. Instead, I stayed perfectly still, heart in my throat, pulse crashing louder than the water. "Riley," she said again, so close now her breath stirred the steam beside my face. "Do you ever wonder what it would be like?" "Well, what would be like?" I whispered, already knowing, already terrified, already wanting it. "If I kissed you." My knees almost gave out. The curtain stayed between us, a thin sheet of plastic separating what I was from what I might become. I could say no. I could laugh. I could pretend I didn't hear. But I didn't do any of that. I reached forward instead, blindly, until my fingers met hers through the steam, through the barrier, through the moment I'd never admit to craving. She didn't pull away. "You're shaking," she murmured.
"So are you," I said.
And then, finally, she pulled the curtain back. Just a few inches. Just enough for her eyes to meet mine. We didn't look away. We couldn't. Her gaze dropped slowly, lazily, then rose again, and something shifted in her expression. Hunger.
Curiosity.
Longing. And all at once, it wasn't funny anymore. It wasn't a game. It was her.
Naomi.
My best friend. The girl who'd kissed 3 boys in freshman year. The girl who once laughed at the idea of 2 girls together. The girl I had never, ever let myself think about this way. Until now. I think I like you, she said, voice breaking into a whisper. I think I've been trying not to.
My throat was dry.
What does that mean? It means I want to find out. If we, are real. And then, as the water roared down my back, she leaned in. She kissed me.
Gently.
Softly. Like I might disappear. Like we were both falling off a cliff but didn't want to stop. When her lips touched mine, the world tilted. I forgot how to breathe. I forgot I was naked. I forgot we were friends. All I knew was her mouth, and the way it fit against mine like it had always belonged there. When she pulled back, we were both gasping.
Drenched.
Trembling.
Changed.
Naomi, I whispered, because there was nothing else left to say. She smiled, water clinging to her lashes. Now what, Riley? I didn't know. I didn't have answers. Only questions. And heat. And need. And the terrifying, thrilling feeling that I was never going to be the same again.
We didn't talk about it.
Not that night. Not the next morning. Naomi had left the bathroom before I'd finished rinsing the shampoo from my hair, and when I came out wrapped in a towel, she was curled up on the couch like nothing had happened. Legs folded beneath her. Hoodie too big. Pretending to scroll through her phone, but I could see the tremble in her fingers. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. The words were lodged in my throat like glass. I got dressed in my room with shaking hands, brushed my wet hair until my scalp burned, and stared at myself in the mirror for a full minute, trying to find the girl I had been just an hour ago. She was gone. In her place was someone else, someone with flushed cheeks and swollen lips and a memory burning behind her eyes she couldn't scrub away. I tried to act normal. I threw on jeans and a t-shirt, walked into the living room like it was just another Saturday, and sat beside her without looking directly at her face. My skin buzzed when our arms almost touched. She smelled like coconut conditioner and peppermint gum and danger. "You hungry?" she asked, voice light. Too light. Starving? I lied. My stomach was in knots. She got up, walking to the kitchen like she didn't just kiss me in the shower. Like she hadn't seen me standing there soaking wet, wide-eyed and shaking, and decided to crash everything we'd spent years building. I watched her move, casual and confident, pulling down bowls and pouring cereal like we were just roommates. I hated how she could pretend so easily. I hated how I couldn't. "Naomi," I said, and my voice cracked. She paused, her back still to me. I could see the tension in her shoulders. The pause before her mask slipped. "Yeah," she said without turning. What was that?" I asked. My voice was too small, too unsure. I hated how weak I sounded. That kiss. Was it a joke? Were you just experimenting? She turned then, slowly, eyes unreadable. "Does it feel like a joke to you?" I didn't answer.
Couldn't.
My fingers were clenched so tight my knuckles ached. She walked over, bowl in hand, and sat beside me again. Her thigh touched mine this time. She didn't pull away. "You didn't stop me," she said quietly. "You kissed me back." I was surprised, I said quickly. "You caught me off guard." "You kissed me back," she repeated. Her voice wasn't angry. It was soft, patient, like she needed me to hear the truth from my own mouth. I looked away, throat tight. "I didn't mean to, but you did." "Naomi, please," I said, and suddenly I was trembling again. "Don't do this. I don't know what this means. I've never liked a girl before," she said. Her voice wasn't mocking. It was gentle, understanding.
"Yeah, I know."
Neither had I. Not like this. I looked at her then, really looked, and saw the fear behind her calm. The way her jaw was tense. The way her eyes flickered between mine like she was searching for safety. "So why?" I asked. "Why now? Why me?" "Because it's you," she said simply. It's always been you. I just didn't realize until I started hating every guy you dated. Until I wanted to rip your clothes off when you laughed in that tiny black dress. Until I dreamed about you and woke up wet and breathless and terrified. My breath caught. Her words hit me like a tidal wave, raw, unapologetic, real. I didn't know, I whispered. I didn't want to know.
Me neither, she said.
But we can't pretend anymore, can we? I didn't answer. Instead, I stood up and paced, arms folded tight across my chest. This is crazy. You're my best friend. We live together. We share everything. We can't just, what happens if this goes wrong? What if we ruin everything? What if we don't? She said softly behind me. What if this is the best thing that's ever happened to us? I turned, heart pounding. I don't even know what I feel. She stood too, crossing the space between us with slow, deliberate steps. Do you want me to kiss you again? She asked.
Right now.
Do you want to know if it was real? I couldn't breathe. I wanted to scream yes. I wanted to run. I wanted to melt into her. I wanted to forget. I wanted to remember every second of the way her lips had felt against mine. Naomi, I choked, but she was already too close. Just say it, she whispered. Yes or no. And then her hand touched my cheek, fingers warm and trembling. I leaned in without thinking. Her mouth brushed mine again, feather soft. Barely there, but it was enough to detonate the storm inside me. I grabbed her shirt, pulled her against me, kissed her like I needed her to breathe. And she kissed me back like she'd been starving.
There was nothing soft about it now.
No more doubt. No more hesitation. Just fire. Tongues, teeth, gasps, hands everywhere. We stumbled back against the couch, her hands sliding under my shirt, my fingers tangled in her hair. Oh my God, I whispered when we finally broke apart. This is insane. She was panting, lips swollen.
Yeah.
But it feels real, doesn't it?
I nodded, dazed.
Too real. Then don't run this time, she said. Don't pretend it didn't happen. I stared at her, heart thudding. I wanted her. That much was undeniable now. But I was still terrified. Not of her. Of myself. Of what this meant. Of what it changed. What happens now? I asked. Naomi smiled, and for the first time, it wasn't teasing. It was tender. We stopped lying, she said.
To ourselves.
To each other. I nodded slowly, swallowing hard. I think I'm falling for you, I whispered. She touched her forehead to mine. Then fall. I'll catch you. We didn't talk again for hours. Not because we didn't want to, but because we couldn't. Because every time our eyes met, something surged between us. Hot, electric, dangerous. Like touching a live wire we were both addicted to. Naomi was everywhere. Her scent clung to the cushions, her hoodie still draped over the chair like a forgotten promise, her lip balm left open on the counter. Everything about the apartment felt saturated with her. And I couldn't breathe without wanting more. That night, I couldn't sleep. I tossed in bed, the sheets sticking to my skin, every nerve in my body stretched taut like a bowstring. I tried distracting myself, scrolling through meaningless posts, turning the fan on high, even reading old texts from high school boys who now felt like strangers. Nothing worked. My mind kept circling back to her. The way her hands had trembled against my waist. The way her breath hitched when I kissed her like I meant it. The way she looked at me like she'd waited her whole life for this. Around 2 a.m., I gave up. I got out of bed, barefoot, wearing only an old tank top and cotton shorts, and padded toward the kitchen, desperate for cold water or a distraction or maybe just a glimpse of her in the dark. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence that holds its breath. I didn't expect her to be awake, but she was. Sitting on the floor in the living room, back against the couch, hoodie gone, tank top loose, legs bare and curled beneath her. She looked up as I entered, and in that moment, just one glance, I knew neither of us would make it through the night untouched. Can't sleep? She asked softly. I shook my head. You, same. Her eyes traced me like I was something to study, memorize, worship. I felt naked. I liked it. I sat beside her without asking, thigh to thigh, the silence between us buzzing with heat. I've never wanted anything the way I want this, she whispered, her voice raw and trembling. And I'm so fucking scared of ruining everything. I turned my face to her, slow, deliberate. Then let's ruin it together. That was all it took. Her mouth was on mine in seconds, fierce and hungry and wild, like she'd been holding back for years and finally snapped. And I kissed her back with everything I had, like the ground beneath us might collapse if I didn't. Her hands roamed my back, my waist, my thighs, claiming territory she'd never dared touch. I was on fire, melting, unraveling. Bedroom. I gasped between kisses.
Go. Now.
She didn't hesitate. We stumbled into my room, kissing blindly, bumping into walls, laughing breathlessly like kids doing something we shouldn't. And maybe we were, but it felt too good to stop. We fell onto my bed in a tangle of limbs, her hands under my shirt, my fingers threading into her hair, everything moving too fast and too slow at once. She hovered above me, breathless, eyes wide, waiting for permission she already had. Are you sure? She whispered. I reached for her hand and placed it on my bare stomach, dragging it slowly upward. I've never been more sure of anything. Her lips followed the path of her fingers, soft and reverent, as if worshipping every inch of skin she revealed. She kissed my collarbone like it was sacred, licked the hollow of my throat like it was a secret. My body arched into hers, desperate, aching. God, Riley, she moaned, voice breaking. You're so fucking beautiful. I cupped her face, pulling her up to kiss her again, this time slower, deeper, like I wanted her to feel what she was doing to me. Like I needed her to know that this wasn't just lust. It was everything. Her hand slipped beneath my waistband, tentative at first, then bolder when I gasped and pressed into her touch. We moved together, breath tangled, skin against skin, until the room faded and there was only her. Her body, her mouth, her voice, her name. And when I came undone beneath her hands, it wasn't shame I felt. It wasn't fear. It was home. I buried my face into her neck, shaking, laughing, crying all at once. I didn't know it could feel like this, I whispered. She held me tighter. Me neither. We lay there for what felt like hours, tangled in sheets and silence, breathing each other in. Her fingers traced lazy circles on my bare hip. My hand rested over her heart, feeling every beat like a promise. So, I said finally, breaking the quiet. What now? Now, she smiled. Now I sleep next to you, like I've wanted to for years. I turned to face her, our legs entwined. And tomorrow? Tomorrow, she said, brushing her lips over mine. We figured out, one kiss at a time. I fell asleep with her arms around me, the taste of her still on my lips, and for the first time in my life, I didn't feel lost. I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. I woke up before her. The sun was just barely peeking through the curtains, warm and gold and soft, falling across her bare shoulder like it knew something I didn't. Naomi's face was turned toward me, lips slightly parted, her breathing steady and deep. I stared at her for a long time, my chest a twisted knot of panic and longing and something dangerously close to awe. She looked peaceful, like nothing had changed, like everything was finally right. But inside me, everything was chaos. My sheets still smelled like her, like coconut and skin, and the weight of something irreversible. My thighs were sore, my lips too, my body marked by her in invisible places I'd never felt before. I'd let her see all of me. I'd touched her like I couldn't stop myself. And now the sun was rising and the world felt too bright, too loud, too real. What had I done? My pulse pounded in my ears as I slipped out of bed, careful not to wake her. I grabbed a hoodie off the floor, hers, because mine felt too thin, and padded into the kitchen barefoot, needing distance, needing air. I leaned against the counter and stared at the window, gripping the edge like I might fall.
Because that was what it felt like.
like I was falling, and I had no idea if she'd still be there to catch me when she woke up. I made coffee with trembling hands, every second dragging like a lifetime. My brain was a mess of fragmented thoughts. What did this mean? Was it a one-time thing? Would she regret it? Would I? The door creaked softly behind me, and I didn't have to turn to know it was her. I felt her before I heard her steps. "Hey," she said, voice rough with sleep. I kept my eyes on the mug in my hand. "Hey." She stood behind me, so close I could feel the heat of her body. I braced myself for something, anything. A joke to lighten the air. A question.
A kiss.
But instead, she asked, "Are you okay?" And that almost broke me. I turned, slowly, facing her. She looked uncertain, vulnerable in a way I hadn't seen before. Her tank top was wrinkled, her hair wild, her eyes softer than I could handle. "I don't know," I said honestly. "Everything feels different." "It is," she said simply. "But different doesn't have to be bad." I studied her face. There was no regret in her eyes. No panic. Just her. Steady. Present. Wanting me. And it terrified me how badly I wanted her back. "What are we now?" I asked. Friends who had sex? Friends who crossed a line? Naomi stepped closer, reaching for my hand. Her fingers laced through mine with the kind of certainty I didn't feel. "We're whatever you want us to be, but I'm done pretending I don't want you." My breath caught. "This can't be just a phase, Naomi. I can't be a mistake you learn from." "You're not," she said, fierce and fast. "You never could be. I didn't just want your body last night. I wanted you." I closed my eyes. Her hand squeezed mine. "I'm scared," I admitted, "of what this means, of what it changes, of what people will say." "Screw what people say," she whispered. "This is between you and me. Nobody else matters." But I knew that wasn't true. We lived in a world that always mattered, where labels stuck like glue, where people talked, judged, assumed. I didn't know if I was ready for that. I didn't even know what label fit me anymore. Gay? Bi? Confused? I was just Riley. And I'd fallen into Naomi like a storm, and now I was drowning in what came after. "Can we go slow?" I asked. "Please." She stepped forward, pulled me into her arms. "As slow as you need. I'm not going anywhere." I sank into her, burying my face in her neck, breathing her in. For a second, the fear slipped away. She kissed the top of my head and held me like she had no intention of letting go. That afternoon, everything shifted again. We didn't talk much. We cleaned, watched TV, ordered food, avoided eye contact whenever the air got too heavy. But when I passed behind her in the kitchen and her hand brushed my hip, I leaned into it. When we sat on the couch, I let her rest her head on my shoulder. When she kissed my cheek before bed, I didn't flinch. I wanted to want this without fear.
I just didn't know how.
The real test came the next day.
Monday.
Naomi had class. I didn't. I watched her dress in my room, pulling on jeans and a crop top like she wasn't currently wearing the same bra I'd unhooked hours ago. "You sure you're okay?" she asked, standing in the doorway with her keys in one hand. I nodded, lying.
"Yeah, go."
"I'm fine." She looked like she didn't believe me. But she left anyway, and the moment she did, the doubt returned like a wave crashing through a dam. I spent all morning pacing, overthinking, wondering if she'd change her mind once she was back in the world. Around boys, around other girls, around options that didn't involve her best friend suddenly being in love with her. And then I made a mistake. I opened her laptop. I didn't mean to snoop. I just wanted music.
Noise.
But her messages were open. I saw them. The one from her classmate with the flirty texts. The one she hadn't answered. And then, one from her ex, Brad. "Still thinking about you," it said. "Miss that mouth." My stomach twisted. I snapped the laptop shut and sat down hard on the couch. Jealousy was ugly. It tasted bitter. It felt sharp. And I hated it. She wasn't mine. We hadn't defined anything. But I felt like she was. And that was terrifying. I was falling for her fast, and I didn't know how to stop. That night, when she came home, she kissed me at the door like nothing had changed. But something had. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to seem insecure.
Weak.
But I knew the storm was coming. I just didn't know when. The days passed in a blur of half-spoken truths and glances that meant more than either of us dared to admit. We touched more, but spoke less. Kissed like we were starved, but avoided the conversations that mattered. I let her crawl into bed with me every night, let her wrap her arms around me like I was something sacred, let her kiss the inside of my wrist and whisper stupid little nothings that made my stomach twist. But I never said what I was really thinking. That I was scared. That I felt like I was slipping into something I couldn't control. That every time her phone buzzed and she smiled, I wondered if it was Brad. That every time she left the apartment, I questioned if she'd come back the same. I told myself it was fine. I told myself I was being dramatic. I told myself that she was here in my bed, in my arms, and that had to mean something. But doubt is a quiet poison, and I let it spread. The breaking point came on a Thursday night. She was late getting home from class, and I was already spiraling before the door even opened. I imagined everything. Her laughing with some guy, her meeting Brad for coffee, her remembering that she wasn't supposed to want girls, wasn't supposed to want me. When she finally walked through the door, smiling, glowing from the cold night air, something in me snapped. "Where were you?" I asked sharper than I meant to. She blinked. Class ran long. Then I grabbed food with Janelle. "You could have texted." "I didn't think I had to," she said, setting her bag down. "I didn't realize I needed permission to eat with a friend." "It's not about permission," I said, standing too fast. "It's about not leaving me here wondering if I was just a mistake." Her eyes darkened. "That's what this is about. You think I was out there screwing around?" "I don't know what to think, Naomi," I shouted. "I'm here, falling for you, changing everything I thought I knew about myself, and you're still texting your ex." She stared at me, stunned. "You went through my messages." "I didn't mean to," I snapped. "But I saw them. And it hurt. And you just acted like it didn't matter." "Because it doesn't," she said, her voice rising. I didn't reply. I didn't engage. "I chose you, Riley. I've been choosing you every day since that night. Then why do I feel like I'm the only one terrified?" I whispered, throat closing. "Why does it feel like I'm the one with everything to lose?" Silence. Heavy. Crushing. "Do you think this is easy for me?" she finally said, low and trembling. "I've spent my whole life being the girl who flirts and jokes and keeps it light because getting serious means getting hurt. I've never felt this way about anyone, Riley. Not Brad. Not anyone. You scare the hell out of me because you make me want things I've never wanted before. And I'm not good at this. I'm not good at feelings and commitment and being vulnerable. I don't need you to be perfect," I said, voice breaking. "I just need to know I'm not alone in this." "You're not," she said, stepping forward, tears in her eyes. "God, Riley, you're not. But if you keep pushing me away every time you get scared, we're never going to survive this." "I'm sorry," I said, but the words felt hollow. Because underneath it all, I was still afraid. Afraid that this version of her, soft, present, open, would vanish the moment I let my guard down. She reached for me, gently cupping my face. "Let me love you," she whispered. "Even if we don't know what we're doing. Even if we're terrified. Let's figure it out together." I let out a shaky breath. "I don't know how to stop overthinking." "Then don't," she said, brushing her lips over mine. "Just let me be here with you, even when it's messy." I kissed her back, hard and desperate, like I needed to prove something. She kissed me like she already knew. We stumbled into the bedroom again, not to have sex this time, but to hold each other. To remind ourselves that whatever this was, it was real. It was flawed. It was us. Later that night, as we lay tangled under the covers, her fingers drawing circles on my shoulder, I asked, "Why me, Naomi?" She smiled without opening her eyes. "Because when I look at you, I feel safe. And terrified.
And alive.
All at once. And I've never had that before. Not even with him? Asked before I could stop myself. She opened her eyes then. Not even close. I nodded slowly. Okay. Okay, she asked. I met her gaze.
Yeah.
Let's be scared together. She leaned in, kissed my forehead, and whispered, Deal. It started with a knock. 3 short, confident taps on the door that felt too precise, too rehearsed. Naomi and I were curled up on the couch, my legs across her lap, her fingers absent-mindedly stroking the inside of my thigh while we argued over which movie to put on. We weren't fully healed from the fight, but we were better. There was a softness between us again, a warmth that I was starting to trust. Until that knock. Naomi's body stiffened. Subtle but instant. Her hand stopped moving. Her eyes darted to the door and then back to me, expression unreadable. Expecting someone? I asked, already knowing the answer.
No, she said.
But she didn't get up. Should I? No, her voice was clipped.
Tight.
Controlled. I got up first, padding barefoot to the door and pulling it open without checking the peephole because some stupid part of me thought it might be her mom or a package delivery or maybe just someone selling overpriced cookies for a fundraiser. But it wasn't. It was a girl. And not just any girl, the kind of girl. Effortlessly hot.
Tall.
Leather jacket. Piercing eyes and a smile that said she'd been on Naomi's bed once, or 100 times. She tilted her head slightly, looking past me before I even spoke.
Wow.
You actually still live here, she said with a little laugh. Naomi was behind me now. I felt her before I heard her. Sloane, she said, and it was the kind of voice you only use when someone you tried to forget suddenly appears in your doorway, wearing confidence, like perfume. Hey, stranger, Sloane said, eyes flicking from Naomi to me, her smile widening. Didn't know you were still in the city. Thought you'd be halfway across the world by now, breaking hearts on beaches or some shit. Naomi didn't laugh. What are you doing here? Sloane shrugged, unbothered. Visiting. Ran into Janelle. She said you were still around. Figured I'd drop by. Her gaze returned to me then. She held out a hand. I'm Sloane, friend of Naomi's. And you are? I stared at her hand, then back at Naomi, who looked like she'd just seen a ghost, and not the kind you miss. Riley, I said, shaking her hand only because I didn't know what else to do. Her grip was firm, confident, flirtatious. Cute name, she said, eyes dancing.
So,
roommates. Naomi cleared her throat. Not exactly. Sloane's smile faltered for a second, just a flicker, but it was enough to send warning bells through my chest. Oh, she said, looking between us.
Oh.
Well, shit. Didn't think I'd be that out of the loop. I stepped back, letting her into the apartment before I even realized what I was doing. Naomi followed her with her eyes, arms crossed, lips tight. You can't just show up like this, she said. Why not? Sloane replied, settling onto the arm of the couch like she owned the place. Didn't know I had to RSVP to say hi. Because we haven't talked in over a year, Naomi snapped. Because the last time I saw you, you walked out and didn't look back. The tension was suffocating. I stood frozen, caught between wanting to run and wanting to claw this girl's eyes out. Things got messy, Sloane said, still so damn casual. We both did things, said things, but I'm not here to fight. I don't know. I missed you. Her eyes softened when she looked at Naomi. And Naomi, my Naomi, looked down. Couldn't hold the gaze. Couldn't lie. I thought we moved on, Naomi said quietly. Did you?
Sloane asked.
Because from where I'm sitting, it kind of looks like you're trying to replay our greatest hits. Don't, Naomi said, voice sharp. Don't do that. Do what? Sloane asked, eyes narrowing. Say what you don't want Riley to hear? That was it. I stepped in front of Naomi, hard in my throat. If you have something to say, say it. Don't circle around me like I'm some placeholder. Sloane raised her eyebrows, amused. You've got bite. I like that. Not here for your approval, I said, fists clenched. Just trying to figure out why the hell you think it's okay to drop into someone's life after ghosting them for a year. Because I thought she'd want to see me, Sloane said simply. Because I didn't think she'd already replaced me. Naomi's voice cut through the air then. She's not a replacement. She's what I should have been looking for all along. And God, my chest caved at that. Because I wanted to believe her.
Needed to.
But she still hadn't made Sloane leave. Still hadn't said the words I was dying to hear. That whatever they had was done. Do you want her here? I asked, eyes locked on Naomi.
Right now. Be honest.
Do you want her here? Naomi looked at me, her face torn, mouth open like she couldn't decide how much truth was safe. And that hesitation? It broke something in me. I grabbed my jacket from the hook and walked past them both. Where are you going? She called. Out, I said without turning back. Before I say something I can't take back. The door slammed behind me. The air outside was freezing. Sharp. Real. I walked for blocks, not thinking, not breathing, just trying to get her out of my head. But she was everywhere. Her touch still on my skin. Her scent still on my shirt. And that silence, the one that answered my question, ringing louder than anything Sloane could have said. I didn't know what Naomi was going to choose. But I knew I couldn't be her maybe. I didn't cry. Not at first. I walked like I had somewhere to go, like the night air wasn't biting at my skin, like my feet weren't aimless and my chest wasn't hollow. I walked because staying meant seeing Naomi still standing beside her, still undecided, still unsure. And I couldn't be that girl. The one who waits, who hopes, who breaks. I ended up at the all-night diner 3 blocks away, the one we used to joke about being cursed because every time we went there, someone would spill something or someone else would cry. It felt fitting now. I slid into the corner booth, ordered coffee I wouldn't drink, and stared out the window like it might give me answers. My phone buzzed.
Once. Twice.
10 times. I didn't look. I couldn't. Because if I saw her name on the screen, I might break. And I couldn't afford to break. Not tonight. Not when I'd finally started to believe this thing between us was real. The coffee went cold. The street outside emptied. And still, I stayed. Until I saw her. Naomi. Standing just outside the glass, hoodie pulled tight, face flushed, breath fogging the air as she scanned the diner, like she'd been running for miles. Our eyes met through the window. Her shoulders slumped with relief. And my heart, my stupid, traitorous heart, ached. I didn't move as she came inside. Didn't speak as she slid into the booth across from me. We sat in silence for a moment, the tension thick, unspoken words choking the air between us. You didn't answer, she said finally.
Her voice was raw.
Unsteady. I didn't want to, I said flatly. I know. I looked at her then, really looked. Her hair was a mess, cheeks pink from the cold, hands shaking slightly as she wrapped them around a napkin she didn't need. Is she still at the apartment? I asked.
No.
I told her to leave the moment you did. Took you long enough, I muttered. It wasn't like that, Riley, she said quickly. I was just shocked. I didn't expect her to show up. I didn't know what to say. You didn't know what to say to her or to me? She winced. Both. That's the problem, Naomi. You don't say anything. You feel everything, act on instinct, but when it comes to the hard stuff, you freeze. And I can't be the only one fighting for this. You're not, she said, and there was pain in her voice now, desperation. I swear you're not. But I've never done this before. Not like this. I've never loved someone I could actually lose. My heart skipped. Loved. She nodded, eyes glassy. I didn't realize it until tonight. Until I saw you walk away and felt like the floor had disappeared under me. I love you, Riley. I'm in love with you. And I think I have been for a while, I just didn't know what to do with it. The words sat between us like thunder. And I wanted to believe them. God, I wanted to believe them. But they weren't enough.
Not yet.
Then why did it feel like she still mattered? I whispered. Naomi leaned forward, her hands on the table, pleading. She doesn't. She hurt me, Riley. She left me in 1,000 pieces, and I let myself believe I didn't deserve anything better. But then you came in like fire. You made me feel again. You made me believe in something real. I just didn't know how to let go of all the ways I've been broken. My throat tightened. I'm not here to fix you. I don't want you to, she said. I just want you to stay. I looked away. The lights from the street outside blurred. My chest was rising and falling too fast. I need to know you're not going to make me compete with your past, I said. I need to know that I'm not just the next chapter in the same story. Naomi reached across the table, her hand finding mine. You're the new story, Riley. You're everything after the end. I swear to God, I only want you. I stared at her hands. Hers was trembling. Mine wasn't. Not anymore. I want to trust you, I said. But I need to feel safe. I need to know you choose me every day. I do, she said. And I will. Then show me, I whispered.
Don't just say it.
Show me. She got up, came around the booth, and slid in beside me. Took my face in her hands like I was glass, like I was gold.
And kissed me.
Not the kind of kiss that fixes everything. The kind that admits it's broken. The kind that says, we'll fix it anyway. I kissed her back because despite everything, every ache, every shadow, I still wanted her more than I'd ever wanted anything. I'm not walking away again, I said when we pulled apart. You better not give me a reason to. Never again, she said, forehead resting against mine. This is it. You and me. Then take me home, I whispered, and remind me why I ever let you in.
She didn't wait.
She took my hand, led me out into the cold. And this time, when we got back to the apartment, there was no ghost on the couch. No silence heavy with guilt. Just her. Just me. And a promise we weren't ready to say out loud, but couldn't stop living. The invitation came on a Tuesday. My mom called, all cheerful and clueless, saying she missed me and was making lasagna and that my aunt was in town, and wouldn't it be nice if I stopped by for the weekend? I said yes before I thought it through. Before I remembered that Naomi was now not just my roommate, or my best friend, or my secret. She was mine, and I was hers. And if this thing was going to last, I couldn't keep her hidden forever. So I did something reckless. Something bold. Something terrifying. I asked her to come with me. Naomi looked up from her laptop when I said it, eyes wide. Your family, she asked, like I'd just suggested we move to another country. I nodded.
Yeah.
My family. Like real plates and too many hugs and personal questions over dinner. You in? For a second, she didn't answer. Then slowly she smiled. You want me there? I don't want to pretend anymore, I said. Not with them. Not with anyone. She closed her laptop, stood up, crossed the room, and kissed me like I'd just given her something sacred. Then I'm in. That Friday, we drove 2 hours to the house I grew up in. Naomi wore a flannel shirt over a tank top and black jeans that hugged her hips in ways I couldn't stop staring at. I wore something safe, neutral, the same sweater I'd worn last Thanksgiving. My stomach was in knots the entire drive. Naomi somehow was calm, humming to the radio, brushing her fingers over my knee, acting like we were just going on a normal road trip and not walking into a minefield with smiles on our faces. When we pulled into the driveway, my mom was already at the door. She waved enthusiastically, her other hand still holding a wooden spoon. Riley, she called out. And oh, is this Naomi? You brought Naomi. Hi, Mrs. Harper, Naomi said brightly, stepping out of the car with a smile that made my mother's eyes crinkle. It's so nice to finally meet you. My mom hugged her like she'd been waiting for it her whole life. We've heard so much about you, she said. Come in. Your room is just like you left it, Riley. And Naomi can take the guest room. Unless you two want to share, of course. She said it casually. A joke. A test. I froze. Naomi didn't. She laughed. We don't mind sharing. And just like that, my mom paused. Her smile dipped, just slightly, then returned.
Well, all right then.
That night was a blur of food and stories and questions I didn't want to answer. My aunt asked Naomi what she studied. My dad asked if she played any sports. My younger cousin asked if we were married yet, and everyone laughed. I didn't. Naomi reached under the table and squeezed my thigh, grounding me. Her hand stayed there the rest of dinner. But the real test came after. In my bedroom.
Door closed.
Lights low. The house quiet except for the occasional clink of dishes being washed downstairs. Naomi sat on my bed, her back against the headboard, arms folded. "They know," she said. "Yeah," I whispered. "I think they do. And I think they're processing it." She looked at me carefully. "Are you?" I swallowed.
Yes.
"But not just them. This thus. You being here. It's bigger than I thought it'd feel." "Does it feel wrong?" "No," I said instantly. "It feels real." Naomi pulled me onto the bed beside her, kissed my cheek, whispered, "Then let them catch up. We're not here to ask for permission." I nodded, but part of me still trembled. Because my mom didn't hug me the same way she hugged Naomi. Because my dad avoided eye contact when we brushed hands. Because no one said anything, but silence was still something. The next morning, Naomi was in the kitchen helping my aunt make coffee when I heard it. My mom's voice.
Low.
Measured. From behind the bathroom door. I paused in the hallway, heart pounding. "I'm not judging," she said to my dad. "But it's fast. And she's never said anything before. It just worries me."
"She's happy," my dad replied.
"Isn't that what matters?" "It is," she said. "But happy doesn't always last." I turned back, slipped into my room, closed the door without a sound. When Naomi came back with 2 mugs, I forced a smile.
Took the coffee.
Pretended I hadn't heard my mother doubt the first real thing I'd ever let myself have. That afternoon, Naomi found me on the porch, staring out at the woods.
"Talk to me," she said.
"Please." I didn't look at her. "They're not ready." "Maybe not," she said. "But you are. And that's what matters." "What if they never get there?" I whispered. "What if I have to choose?" Naomi's voice broke. "Then choose the one who won't make you doubt yourself." I turned, tears hot in my eyes. "I already did." She cupped my face, kissed me slow and soft and certain. "Then stop apologizing for it." That night, I didn't care if they heard. I kissed her in the hallway, let her pull me close in the kitchen, slept beside her without guilt, without shame. And in the morning, when my mom hugged us goodbye, she whispered in my ear, "Just don't let anyone dim you, Riley. Not even us." It wasn't a blessing, but it wasn't a curse. It was a beginning. I could tell something was wrong the moment I walked in the door. Naomi was sitting on the edge of the couch, elbows on her knees, staring at her phone like it had just punched her in the face. Her knee bounced. Her lip was pulled between her teeth. Her whole body screamed tension. "What happened?" I asked, setting my bag down. She looked up, blinked, tried to smile.
Failed.
"I got an email," she said. "Okay," I said slowly, moving toward her. "Good news or bad?" "Both," she replied, her voice thin. "It's from Luma." My stomach dropped. Luma, the creative agency in Portland she'd applied to months ago, the one with the elite design internship she'd said she'd die to get. The one she'd dreamed about like it was a fairy tale, untouchable, distant, unreal. "They picked you," I said, already knowing. She nodded. "I leave in 3 weeks." I sat down across from her, the air suddenly sharp in my lungs. 3 weeks. "Yeah." "And how long is it for?" 6 months. The words hit like a slap. Not because I wasn't proud of her. Not because she didn't deserve it. But because in all the chaos and passion and growing between us, I had forgotten that the world outside our little apartment still existed. That dreams still pulled us in opposite directions. That love wasn't always enough to make life pause. "Say something," she whispered. "I don't know what to say," I answered. "I want to be happy for you, Naomi. I am happy. But I also kind of want to scream." She let out a shaky breath. "Same." "So, what does this mean?" I asked, heart in my throat. "What happens to us?" "I don't know," she said, eyes wide, wet. "I didn't think I'd get it. And now I'm trying to feel proud, but all I feel is guilt. Don't, I said instantly. Don't you dare feel guilty for being good at what you do. But if I go, I leave you. And if I stay, I leave everything I've worked for. So what? I said bitterly. I'm the thing that gets left either way. No, she said, crawling off the couch and kneeling in front of me. You're the thing I never wanted to leave. That's what makes this so hard. Do you want to go? I asked. Her eyes darted away, then back.
Yes.
I think I have to. I nodded, tears burning behind my eyes. Then go. Riley, go. Because if you stay for me, you'll resent me. And if you go and we don't talk about it, I'll resent you. So go. But don't lie to me about how hard it is. She leaned forward, rested her forehead on my knee. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. I carted my fingers through her hair, breath shaky. So we do distance? Do you want to? I don't want any version of us that means not being with you. But I also don't want you to give up something you've dreamed about since before you ever kissed me. Long before, she said softly. But kissing you changed everything. Same. We sat in silence, her hands gripping my thighs, my fingers tangled in her curls, the weight of goodbye already pressing on both of us, even though we still had 3 weeks. That night, we made love like we were trying to memorize each other. No words, just mouths, skin, desperation. She kissed every inch of me like a prayer, and I held her like I could tattoo her body into mine. When she came, it was with my name on her lips and tears in her eyes. And when I followed, it was with the terrifying thought that maybe this was the last time we'd feel like this. Promise me something, I said, later. Our limbs tangled, the sheets twisted between us. Anything. Don't go if your heart stays here. It won't, she whispered, because I'm taking you with me. Naomi, I mean it. Letters, video calls, surprise visits, sleepless nights. We can do this. I know we can. It won't be easy. Neither were we. I laughed, broken and whole all at once. You better write me something poetic from Portland. I'll send you postcards with lipstick kisses and sketches of all the strangers who'll never mean anything to me. Good. I touched her face. Because I love you. She froze. Her breath caught. Then slowly, her face broke into a smile so raw and open it made me ache. Say it again. I love you. She pressed her forehead to mine. I love you too. God, Riley, I love you. Then let's make this work, I whispered. Let's be the exception.
We already are, she said.
We always were. I kissed her like it was the last time. And the first. And every time in between. It had been 124 days since she left. I didn't count them obsessively. Not at first. But somewhere around day 17, I started marking a little red dot on the corner of the calendar. Quietly. Secretly. One for every night I fell asleep with her voice in my ear and the ghost of her body wrapped around mine. She called every day, without fail. Sometimes for 10 minutes. Sometimes for hours. We talked about her internship, about my classes, about the world falling apart and stitching itself back together in tiny ways. She sent photos of sunsets and strange food and drawings she made on napkins while thinking about my mouth. I sent her voice notes, sleepy and shy, reading poetry she'd once called So Riley It Hurts. We sexted, awkwardly at first, then confidently, until the sound of her moaning my name through the phone became both torture and salvation. We didn't say we missed each other. We didn't have to. It hung in every word, every silence, every, I wish you were here. The days stretched, the months blurred, and then, finally, she said the words I hadn't let myself dream of. I'm coming home. I dropped the mug I was holding. It shattered across the kitchen tile, and I just stood there, barefoot, heart racing. Say it again. I breathed. I'm coming home, Riley. They offered me a permanent position. I turned it down. What? I told them I can't be away from you another 6 months. That I got what I came for. That my home isn't a job, it's you. My knees buckled. I slid to the floor, the shards around me, my breath coming in gasps. Naomi, don't cry, she whispered. I'll be there Friday. I want to surprise you, but I can't wait. I needed you to know. I'm coming back. For you. For us. You still love me? I whispered. I never stopped. The days between that call and her arrival were unbearable. I cleaned everything twice, rearranged bookshelves, bought the expensive candle she loved, and lit it even though it gave me a headache. I stood in front of the mirror and tried on outfits I'd never wear just to see if I looked like someone worth coming back for. On Friday, I waited by the door. Every sound in the hallway made my heart stop. And then finally, it was her.
Naomi.
Hair longer, skin sun-kissed, eyes tired but alight like 1,000 stars. She dropped her bag the second I opened the door. And for a second, we just stared. The moment stretched.
Full. Holy.
I didn't cry. Not right away. I touched her face like she might disappear. She gripped my wrists, leaned in, kissed me like she was breathing for the first time. And then we were holding each other, crying, laughing, shaking. You're here, I kept whispering. You're really here. I told you I'd come back, she murmured into my neck. I always meant to. We didn't waste time. The clothes came off fast, messy, needy. We made love like we'd forgotten how and were remembering together, piece by piece, gasp by gasp. Her body was familiar and new all at once. Her hands reverent. Her mouth a hymn. She whispered my name like it was a vow. I moaned hers like it was home. When we collapsed into each other, breathless, slick with sweat and love and relief, she cradled my face and said, I want everything with you. I'm not scared anymore. I said honestly. I kept waiting for something to break. Then let's build something no one can break. I kissed her like I believed her, like I knew we'd make it. Because we would. We'd already survived the silence, the distance, the doubt. We'd made it through every reason not to work. And now we were here, choosing each other. Every day. I told my mom the next morning, sat her down, told her the truth, not just about us, but about how I finally felt real in my own skin. How Naomi made me better, braver, whole. She didn't cry, just took my hand, said she'd always love me, that she was proud. Naomi unpacked slowly, filled the apartment with new sketches, notes on the fridge, toothbrush beside mine, bras in my drawer. She left her jacket on the back of the chair, like a declaration. This is her home now, with me. Months passed. We cooked, fought, danced in the kitchen barefoot, wrote little love notes on receipts, had loud sex on weekends and quiet mornings after. She held me during panic attacks. I kissed her through creative blocks. We said, I love you, like other people say goodnight. One day, she knelt beside me while I was grading papers on the floor, opened a little box with a ring I hadn't expected, and whispered, say yes. I didn't even look at the ring. Just at her. My girl. My Naomi. Yes, I said, crying, laughing, shaking. Yes, of course, always yes. Because that's what it always was with her. Since the beginning. Since the shower. Since the silence. Since the fall. It was always yes. It had been 124 days since she left. I didn't count them obsessively. Not at first. But somewhere around day 17, I started marking a little red dot on the corner of the calendar. Quietly. Secretly. One for every night I fell asleep with her voice in my ear and the ghost of her body wrapped around mine. She called every day, without fail. Sometimes for 10 minutes. Sometimes for hours. We talked about her internship, about my classes, about the world falling apart and stitching itself back together in tiny ways. She sent photos of sunsets and strange food and drawings she made on napkins while thinking about my mouth. I sent her voice notes, sleepy and shy, reading poetry she'd once called so wryly it hurts. We sexted, awkwardly at first, then confidently, until the sound of her moaning my name through the phone became both torture and salvation. We didn't say we missed each other. We didn't have to. It hung in every word. Every silence. Every, I wish you were here. The days stretched. The months blurred. And then, finally, she said the words I hadn't let myself dream of. I'm coming home. I dropped the mug I was holding. It shattered across the kitchen tile, and I just stood there, barefoot, heart racing. Say it again, I breathed. I'm coming home, Riley. They offered me a permanent position. I turned it down. What? I told them I can't be away from you another 6 months. That I got what I came for. That my home isn't a job, it's you. My knees buckled. I slid to the floor, the shards around me, my breath coming in gasps. Naomi, don't cry, she whispered. I'll be there Friday. I want to surprise you, but I can't wait. I needed you to know. I'm coming back.
For you.
For us. You still love me? I whispered. I never stopped. The days between that call and her arrival were unbearable. I cleaned everything twice, rearranged bookshelves, bought the expensive candles she loved, and lit it even though it gave me a headache. I stood in front of the mirror and tried on outfits I'd never wear just to see if I looked like someone worth coming back for. On Friday, I waited by the door. Every sound in the hallway made my heart stop. And then finally it was her. Naomi. Hair longer. Skin sun-kissed. Eyes tired but alight like 1,000 stars. She dropped her bag the second I opened the door. And for a second, we just stared. The moment stretched.
Full. Holy.
I didn't cry. Not right away. I touched her face like she might disappear. She gripped my wrists, leaned in, kissed me like she was breathing for the first time. And then we were holding each other, crying, laughing, shaking. You're here, I kept whispering. You're really here. I told you I'd come back, she murmured into my neck. I always meant to. We didn't waste time. The clothes came off fast, messy, needy. We made love like we'd forgotten how, and were remembering together, piece by piece, gasp by gasp. Her body was familiar and new all at once. Her hands reverent. Her mouth a hymn. She whispered my name like it was a vow. I moaned hers like it was home. When we collapsed into each other, breathless, slick with sweat and love and relief, she cradled my face and said, I want everything with you. I'm not scared anymore. I said honestly. I kept waiting for something to break. Then let's build something no one can break. I kissed her like I believed her, like I knew we'd make it. Because we would. We'd already survived the silence, the distance, the doubt. We'd made it through every reason not to work. And now we were here, choosing each other. Every day. I told my mom the next morning, sat her down, told her the truth, not just about us, but about how I finally felt real in my own skin. How Naomi made me better, braver, whole. She didn't cry, just took my hand, said she'd always love me, that she was proud. Naomi unpacked slowly, filled the apartment with new sketches, notes on the fridge, toothbrush beside mine, bras in my drawer. She left her jacket on the back of a chair, like a declaration. This is her home now, with me. Months passed. We cooked, fought, danced in the kitchen barefoot, wrote little love notes on receipts, had loud sex on weekends and quiet mornings after. She held me during panic attacks. I kissed her through creative blocks. We said, I love you like other people say goodnight. One day, she knelt beside me while I was grading papers on the floor, opened a little box with a ring I hadn't expected, and whispered, say yes. I didn't even look at the ring, just at her. My girl, my Naomi. Yes, I said, crying, laughing, shaking. Yes, of course, always yes. Because that's what it always was with her. Since the beginning. Since the shower. Since the silence. Since the fall.
It was always yes.
Thank you so much for your support, whether it's by liking, commenting, sharing, or sending your super thanks. You make all the difference here on the channel. See you in the next video.